Hello, hello, hello. Oh, oh, oh. And welcome to here, the kitchen of wonders. I don't know what that intro was. Hi. So, as you can see, we did not manage to reconvene over the weekend. So many things happened this weekend. And I just decided not to push myself to try to carve out a space for this. Um, that's what happened. The exciting news, if you want to ask me about it, um, if you may or may not know, I've been seeking employment, and this morning, or not this morning, it was actually this afternoon, but they both came in this afternoon. I got two interview invites, which obviously isn't the final step, but it's an exciting development, especially since one of those was only submitted yesterday on Sunday, and it popped through right away. So that's the exciting news. The other exciting news is I followed through over there, and we have a shiny, although I have used it since I shined it up, so there's a few little fragments and bits already starting to develop, but it was briefly completely shiny, brand new, delightful worktop with some fresh vegetables. We're using those fresh vegetables today. They were over there because I cleaned this one off. Also, this camera got bumped, so we're at a slightly different angle again. Looks like I've lost 2 inches off the right. That doesn't seem right. And the bottom's pretty good. Okay. Well, now there's a big gap. Is that camera just in a weird place? I guess. Um, well, we're gonna get rid of those 2 inches on the right because I don't want you looking in the trash. Okay, I bumped this camera, so I've been fussing with trying to get it a good, get it back to a good spot. There's also been a fruit fly. There was some fruit here, and it had attracted some fruit flies. The fruit has moved, and I have disposed of almost all of the fly. One has evaded me and has been hanging around, so you might see it. Um, so yeah, the plan today, and I started a little bit late because I don't think this is going to take very long, and I don't want this to take very long. Also, we have some battery concerns to think about, so I'm going to try to make this a bit of a snappy one. I made ages ago. I made Mie Goreng based on this instant noodle, Mie Goreng, um, which was this is a very good instant noodle, by the way. This is a top quality instant noodle. The only issue being that they're kind of small. They're on the small side among instant noodles, but the flavors are top notch. All this stuff isn't in the package. The package is just noodles and flavor sauce. Um, and I wanted at one point to know what the real thing was like. You can see tomatoes, lettuce, eggs, cucumber, onion, shrimp, a whole like pile of stuff. So we made it at some point, and I really liked it. And I just so happen to have been gifted a tomato, a cucumber. I already had a pepper, but I have a pepper. We have some bok choy. We have some chicken. We have some shrimp. I'm going to try to make this, but I'm not pulling up a recipe this time. We're just going to try to remember. I'm not even going to look at the back of the thing. So I know all the obvious like parts there. We're going to throw an egg on top. We're going to make essentially that, but I'm not going to look at the recipe. I'm just going to attempt to remember what the heck. So we're going to start by getting out all the things I think I'm going to need. Obviously, we started here. And I'm going to add to that this shallot. And I'm pretty sure the onion on the packaging was a shallot. Probably not going to use the whole thing. We use one of the lobes. These are giant shallots. The shallots at my store are enormous. We're going to need some noodles because it's a noodle dish. And I've been gradually working my way through this package of noodles. So those are the noodles of choice. I'm sure they're the wrong noodle, but oh well. The shrimp is going to be a little bit of an odd one. It's already cooked. It's discount shrimp. There's a ton of them in here, so we're going to use part of them. They also already have flavor, so that might screw things up. The chicken, also discounted. We're not going to use all of it. We're going to use probably just one of these, and we're going to have to freeze the rest of it. The sauces are going to be where it comes together, I think. And I don't remember exactly what they all are, but I'm pretty sure that there was oyster sauce, fish sauce, sweet soy, which was ketchup, but with not spelled like ketchup. Which I don't have, but this is similar. This is Chinese sweet black soy sauce. I should have some sambal oelek in here. Yep, some sambal oelek. Is that? Because it's sweet, spicy, savory sauce, and then it's not super liquidy, and you fry the noodles in it. So it coats and sticks to the noodles without giving you this like soupy base. Is that, and some bok choy. I'm going to use some bok choy, and I've also got some scallions. Some of these little tiny bok choys. The babiest of all the bok choys. And where did those extra scallions sneak off to? Here they are. Some scallions. Those guys, these adorable little baby bok choys. I think this is our full set up. Let me look at the picture. Oh, an egg. There is a little chili pepper in there, which we're going to use the jalapeno for. There's peas and peppers mixed in with the noodles, which is very strange. There's also egg bits mixed in with the noodles. I think it's like stir fry with egg style, but they also put a fried egg on top. I'm not going to double up on the egg, so we're just going to do the fried egg part on top. And I think that's what we're doing. So yeah, that's the plan. That's today's plan. Let me know if you hear the motor on the fridge. It's been giving little buzzes lately, and if it bugs you, then I'll know it's picking up and I have to fix it. Probably not going to be able to fix it now because I have to move the fridge to get at the motor, but... yeah. So step one, we're going to want to boil those noodles. No, not step one, because they'll stick together. Step one, I'm going to want to prep all my various loose vegetables. We're going to want to probably cook the chicken first to get the pan started with some chicken oil. So let's set our vegetables aside. And our sauces. Grab our board of cutting and get out our chicken. And I'm positive this one ended up in the discount bin because of that spot right there, which is just a little bit of chicken blood. So literally nothing to worry about. Let's give the old knife, which is very sharp, but can't hurt to give it a brief touch up. Oh, and I will want a bowl to catch my chicken in. We'll see how big these are once I get them out of there. Let's do 2, and then freeze the other 4. Do this one-handed real quick. Get them packed away before I do anything else. There's that one fruit fly. He found the chicken. Okay. Guess I should do something to use up the rest of this chicken since it was already old chicken. Chicken out of the discount bin is a little more hit and miss than other meats, just by nature of it being chicken. So we're probably going to want to use that one up sooner rather than later. And look what a nice razor sharp knife does. You barely even have to put in any effort to get it to slice perfectly through pretty much anything. Having a long slicer also helps because you can just keep going in one direction for a much longer period of time instead of doing that sawing motion. I'm just doing one stroke up and one stroke back and it's cut. And I think I'm gonna take some of these larger pieces and split them lengthwise as well. But I'd rather have like little strips than big globs. In the finished dish. Yeah, okay. Let's get that. And we are going to immediately wash hands, board, and knife. Because raw chicken, we don't want to handle anything else with the raw chicken, especially bargain bin chicken, which, if anything is likely to be contaminated, that's the most likely. Although I still don't expect it to be contaminated. This is just a safety precaution. And I'm also not using a sponge, because a sponge would pick up. I use a sponge for most of my cleaning, but a sponge would pick up contaminated chicken. I sponge. I use one of those scrubby pads, but I still don't want to use that. Just because. Chicken. Ooh. Hot water. I think that fly that was bugging me followed me over here and got drowned in the sink. I guess that's what happens sometimes. Shoot. How did that happen? How did that... My cutting board fell between the table and the wall. How did that happen? Okay. Sliding back over. Oh, you guys are looking at the back of my head. Let's turn that light off. And actually, we're going to grab a wok, which lives in here right now because I have run out of places to put pans. So, we're going to try to do this without making a massive mess on our first outing with the new stove. Oop, we immediately glugged my oil. Delightful. Wipe that up. We're going to do the chicken first because I want to make sure it is fully and properly cooked. We can toss it back in at the very end. But step one, get your chicken cooked. So we're going to get that oil hot. I think that's going to be all the oil we need for the entire thing. I don't think any of our sauces are acidic, so I shouldn't have any issue. I need to cook more things in the wok, just to help build up its seasoning layer. Yeah. Get a glass of water out. So, how's it going? While we wait for this this to heat. Get my pusher out. Jen! Long time no see. Howdy, howdy. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? Welcome to my brand new stovetop, by which I mean parts of the stovetop are new. The actual thing isn't, but that coil is, and all of the dishes, and I also took the time to just scrub the hell out of it. So it looks better. It was getting kind of grungy, I noticed. I could not help but notice. Come on, get out of there. I'm gonna touch that. Okay. Alright. We are getting this chicken cooked from the start. And I'm going to try Ancient Mac. I used to have a Mac a million years ago. I'm supposed to not put this on. Part of why they got so grungy was I kept putting my work tools on the empty burners, because the logic is if anything drips from them onto the burner, you can just turn the burner on and it'll burn it off. But sometimes the drips go through the burner down into the tray, and that's where all that grungy caked on crap comes from. So I'm supposed to be not putting the backspace button, but it doesn't work. That's usually an important button. Okay. These don't need to be like cooked to perfection, but they do need to be cooked through, because when I put them back in, they're probably not going to get enough direct heat to really finish cooking right to the middle. I do need a spoon rest. WeFormer has multiple times said that she would make a spoon rest, but then I would have to give WeFormer my home address. And then she'd be barging in the door all the time. From, I want to say, Rhode Island? I could use, at least on the short term, one of the ginkgo leaves as a spoon rest. I found those at Goodwill. I got 3 of them. We've only actually used them once or twice for plates, because they're a little bit awkward. They're ridiculously over fancy. But using one of them for that is great. They're made of aluminum, so there's also no danger in putting them near the cooktop like this. I think I actually need the straight scraper. As always, I continue to have sticking problems with this wok, and I'm not entirely sure why. But the straight scraper, yeah, that's what that's for. Because it's a flat-bottomed wok, so a flat-edged scraper to get things dislodged. If you just got here, I'm doing the chicken in advance because I want to make sure the chicken is done before I do anything else. Because it's chicken. Otherwise, I'm trying to make Mie Goreng from memory. Or from memory plus the picture on the package here, which is upside down, which has noodles, egg, shrimp, tomato, parsley, cucumber, shallots, peppers, lettuce, and some kind of sauce. No chicken, which is why, of course, I started by adding chicken. Why is this stuff sticking so forcefully, though? Garam masala hash brown sounds pretty good. Ghetto Beano. Hello. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? There's already oil speckles on my new burner. And my old burner. Probably going to want to deglaze this with something liquid. We're having a lot of sticking. It smells like I've cooked all the raw out of it. So it's probably a good time to just get that out of there and start moving along. Got these for frying, and they're, you know, I guess kind of okay with loosen up. I don't want to pour the oil out, so I'm trying to pick the chicken up so that our oil can stay in there for future things. Although we've got the heat off now, so I'm going to switch us over to prepping other ingredients. And once we have everything, there is certainly a lot of sticking happening. Probably just burn that guy loose. Eh. There. Good enough. I'm going to move him away as well so he doesn't keep getting extra heat. I mean, new stovetop insofar as I've replaced the catcher dishes, and that coil is all new. Because when I took the coils out, I'll show you. When I took the coils out to replace the dishes, this is one of them. It's, first of all, very obviously warped. But second of all, it just fell apart. Like so I decided that that one needed to be replaced. So we got a brand new one of those. The other ones, the other four, they're old, but they're in good shape. They held together perfectly well when I took them off, so there was no worries. But that one, yeah, that one, that was the one that was in the, it was in this slot. It had previously, before I did streaming, been in that back slot, because that's the hardest, one of the harder ones to reach. But it's right up in the front for the camera, so I swapped it ages ago into this slot, so it was sort of this front one, and I didn't use it very much because it was visibly warped. But it's never fallen apart before, so it just fell apart. I took this opportunity also to lift the whole panel up and clean underneath, so you can't see that part, but it's also clean underneath this top panel. Whole shebang. So it's like having a new cooktop. Anyways, our step one was the chicken. Step two, I want to prep all of our veggies. Into little or big dishes. Oh, we got to do the shrimp too. Shrimp can probably wait. So, cute little cucumber and a slightly overripe tomato. These are actually going to go on fresh. So I'm not going to cook them, I'm not going to cut them right away, but they are important. On the other hand, shallot needs to be minced up. And I'm only going to use one of the lobes, so let's get this guy split without tearing it up if I can do it. Oop, a little dirty on the inside there. They're very different sizes. I think we're going with the big side because I broke through the paper on that side. Oh, we need some garlic. I almost forgot about the garlic. There should be some in the house. Yeah. Garlic. Everybody else goes in the house. If you're careful, you can break a fresh head of garlic like I just did by sort of leaning into it at an angle until the cloves pop apart. It only really works with a pretty good head of garlic. If they've gone soft at all, they'll just kind of flex instead of breaking apart. But that one was brand new, so it was a perfect one to do it on. And we can get them peeled right off the bat. Oop. Oh. The magic garlic roller, it doesn't always completely magic them up, but it does them at least 90% of the way. Sometimes it does them all of the way, and you don't even have to touch them again. I do love this thing. I have never been to Indonesia, nor have I had mie goreng locally. My previous exposure to mie goreng has been this. This honestly pretty good instant noodle. I'm a big fan of this particular instant noodle. It's a good one. And I made it once here on the show from a recipe because I thought that the picture here looked so good that I wanted to recreate it. And I have no idea if I did a good job. The thing I made was pretty tasty. Let's keep that handy so I can keep showing it off. The thing I made was pretty tasty, but I have no idea how authentic it was. I would love to visit that part of the world someday. That seems good. Let's... this knife. Oh, there's a first. Jen got it. Isosceles. You missed it by seconds. Jen got it seconds ago. Jen, you're officially first. You beat everyone to be first. You were the first one here. You actually were the first one here. But then you're also the first one officially. And also you requested a moisten. Moist. Which, as always, thank you for the moisten. And Isosceles, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Fortunately, there's no magic peeler for shallots. That's the point of the... that's the purpose of the moisten. Because I mean, I can take a drink whenever I want. Probably should leave the compost lid ajar so I can keep tossing stuff in there. I think we're going to fry half of this and then put in half of it, or fry half of it right at the beginning, and then put in half of it toward the end. So we have two different textures. But also I might just forget about that and throw it all in at once, either at the beginning or the end, depending on when I remember. Let's get out some little dishes for it, though. Because I know putting onions or alliums, garlic, onions, etc., in the beginning with the oil, just to really get the oil flavored up, is common. Again, I don't have a recipe up. We're just trying to remember this. And I know jalapeno is not the right kind of pepper, but it's what I have on hand, and it's going to be good enough. We have some other spicy elements coming in as well. Not massively concerned about tracking down those bird's-eye chilies. My understanding of the dish is that it's a bunch of fried elements and then also a bunch of fresh elements put on at the end. So it's this like best of both combination. So I'm not sure when ideally each thing would be added. I do know that I'm going to save the leafy parts of the bok choy to put on right at the end, because I want a leafy green at the very end. We're getting into that weird time of green onions when they're starting to develop bulbs. And we only want 2 of these, I think. We can have the extra one waiting in the wings just in case I decide I need more, perhaps as a garnish. The white part is going to want to get fried early on. So that part I'm actually going to throw in with half of our shallot. All can go in at once. The rest of this is going to want to go in later so that it's not quite as cooked down. Should have touched this knife up before I dove in. It's maybe just a scooch less sharp than I would like it to be. Some of the knives definitely need proper touching up, not just a quick run across the honing steel, but a trip to the grinder. Those guys there. This can be our garlic. Which, am I going to mince it, or am I going to crush it, or am I going to paste it? We're going to go with the flat knife crush. We're going to go with the flat knife crush and then cross mince. Don't forget, always mash up your garlic, whatever you're going to do to it, at least a minute before you add it to any form of heat. Give those enzymes a chance to develop that rich, spicy, garlicky goodness before you burn them away. Perhaps too much garlic, but also, I don't know the meaning of the word too much garlic. Okay. Bok choy. Put our garlicky knife away and rinse the garlic off my hand. these fellas, little baby bok choys. I am so lucky to have an Asian grocery store local that supplies these just all the time. They sometimes have a little gnarly bit, but for the most part, they are just gorgeous little beans. Chisel. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Put garlic 3 times in the dictionary. Is that a... They are. They're so baby. Look at these little guys. We're going to save the leaves parts of them. So I want only the nicer leaves. Hi, Chisel. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? We do love garlic. You can never have too much garlic. Is that even going to be enough? I suppose I don't want big amounts. Big amounts. I don't want big amount of these in this particular dish. So probably that's all I need for them. I'm doing okay. I had some good news today after a busy weekend. I have been on the job hunt, and despite all the reports of nobody wants to work, it also seems like employers don't want to hire is a big problem. I've had many a ghost, but just today I got called in for 2 interviews. Now, interviews didn't happen today, so they're still pending, but the calls came in today, so that is a step in the right direction. And over the weekend, I redid my whole cooktop right there. Megs! Hi! Why did I say that so weird? Hi! Welcome, welcome. How is it going? We'll get over to the, we'll get back over to the cooktop in a second and I can show off the fancy shininess of it. I'm probably going to make a mess of it today and I'm going to have to give it a scrub down already, but that is the way of things. Bok choy, onions, another kind of onions, garlic peppers. Those go on fresh at the end with our leafy greens. We have 1 extra scallion just in case I need it, but I think we have plenty there. We're gonna need an egg toward the end, but you know, get things ready. Don't forget about them. So we're gonna want 1 egg. Just keep that handy. Keep that handy to remind myself that there's supposed to be an egg. And the shrimp. Behold, shrimp. They seal these things in, and then nobody buys them, and then they put a reduced sticker on them, and then I open them up and I go, They don't smell bad, but they don't smell the super freshest. I probably have a day on them. So I'll be eating shrimp today and tomorrow. These are Cajun flavored, which I don't even know what that means. I've asked about the flavorings they put on these, and they apparently just come in a shaker and put them on at the store. Because the nutrition label does not tell you what is in the mix. It says spices, which is not helpful. But I can see black pepper and the seeds of a chili pepper. So at the very least that. We'll save the tails. Always, well, not always. If you are inclined to try to make your own stock, a great way to get rolling on that is to save the tails of any shrimp that you, well, if they're fully shelled, then the full shells. But if they've just got the tails like this, then just the tails. Whatever, the shell pieces of whatever shrimp you've got, if you like shrimp. And then you just get a plastic bag, put those little tails in that plastic bag, and keep them in the freezer. And when your bag is full, this bag is obviously not full, we only barely got started on it. When your bag is full, you can turn those into shrimp stock. That's all the shrimp I'm going to use for this. I'm going to have to come up with something else to do with the rest of these shrimps before they go weird. That might be a project for tomorrow. I don't want to overload this particular dish with shrimp. This is about the same amount as we have our chicken. And since the chicken's already cooked and the shrimp's already cooked, I'm actually going to throw the shrimp right in with the chicken. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Our shrimp is not going to be put on as a decorative topping. I'm going to toss it through the rest of the stuff. But they should be mostly visible. Decorative toppings are going to be the cucumber, tomato, and fried egg. And sauce. Going to want the sauce part to be ready to rock when I need it. So we're going to attempt to remember what the sauce is. I know there's some fish sauce in it. How much? That much. I know there's some sweet soy in it. How much? Quite a bit. I think it's one of the major elements. So we're going to give that a good big pour. This stuff is, near as I can tell, like a combination between molasses and soy sauce. So you could probably make a decent facsimile by mixing molasses and soy sauce. But it's also got extra sugar in it. It's very thick and sticky. Some oyster sauce to juice up the thick richness and also the flavor. Because that stuff, oyster sauce has, of course, oyster flavor. This stuff is a similar consistency, but it's very much just like soy and sugar flavored. And we're actually getting low on sambal oelek, but there's that fruit fly. Some sambal oelek. I think I want to put some sesame oil in as well. And that should be it. We could give it a dash of seasoning. We could give it a dash of regular soy sauce. I'm actually going to give it just a dash of regular soy sauce. And let's tiny whisk it together. Ooh, it's sticky at the bottom. But stir it together until it's smooth. Get those thick, sticky bits combined with the waterier bits. Tiny whisk. Tiny whisk is still here. He lost his shape a little bit. I had to do some reconstructive surgery at one point, but still sticking around. He doesn't get nearly as much use as he once upon a time did. And I think that's our sauce. I should taste it. It should be too strong. Salty, sweet, very savory. Like punches you a little bit with the savoriness. I may have put in too much fish sauce. And possibly too much oyster sauce. Giving it a little shot of sriracha. It wants a tang. It wants a tang. But I don't want to throw a bunch of acid into it because I don't want to eat my wok. So we might do a sprinkle of something acidic right at the end. Give it a little tang. Something along those lines. I'm also going to want to deglaze that pan at some point. So I wonder if just a splash of sake would be good enough for deglazing the pan. Sake. That's not sake, that's more salt. Sake. Okay, I think I got all the parts here. So we should slide over to the stove and start cooking them together. Right? Right. Which means we need the noodles. So, boil up your noodles. I hope you're following along at home. The whole point of this is an instructional thing for you to all follow along at home. Turn to page 5 of your workbooks. We're over here now. We're going to boil up some water in the back on blasting heat. And I don't... The noodles need to be boiled, but then we also are going to fry the noodles. And that's where I'm losing confidence a little bit. Also, the wok has stuck to the chicken quite intensely, and I'm concerned about other general sticking happening. The spatula is going to live over here. Okay. Thing is, I want the noodles to be ready to go in at the right time. So I think we should boil the noodles, set them to the side, possibly lightly oiled so they don't stick to themselves, before I start anything else in the wok. The first thing we're going to do in the wok is the onions. Ooh, there's that fruit fly. There. Okay. So bear with me a sec while we boil some noodles. That much. They're shorter. They're shorter than spaghettis. So we'll make the make them slightly thicker. And we're gonna need a bowl to catch them in. Oh, so what's anyone else been up to? I told you about my exciting times. Do I have any new gadgets? I got a bunch of jars. I've been jarring things. Like the plum jam. We have some fancy mushrooms. Oh, my car died. Jen definitely didn't know about that. My car died, and I had to fix it. And it took a whole day, which was shockingly fast. Oh. I don't have a... I don't have a big idea. I don't have a big idea project in mind. But I should come up with something. Whoa, my battery is very, very low on my microphone. If we cut out suddenly and switch to the... shout if I cut out suddenly. Ongoing battery wonkiness, and I'll just have to plug it in. Well, it's sure steaming real fast. I want to boil these to a dente. 3 to 5 minutes with a little bit of salt, not adding extra salt. Serve with everything. Excellent. Excellent. Oh boy. So yeah, if these job prospects come through, we will have to adapt our schedule around whatever their new schedule ends up. Which, I mean, fingers crossed on my side. as much fun as this is, doesn't exactly pay the bills. So. Oh, I'm going to need a pan to fry that egg in. That's boiling enough for my purposes. We will add our noodle, and they should descend right into the pot. That back burner never has a really good angle for you guys. The egg beater's still out. I haven't used the egg beater in weeks. I just forgot to put it away. How foolish of me. Oh, where does it live? It lives behind everything. I hardly ever use it. Oop! Do not boil over. I just cleaned all that stuff. Accursed thing. Okay, we're going for a light al dente on our noodles because they're going to get a little bit more cooking time in the wok. So if they're really soft, they are going to, first of all, overcooked. Second of all, they're going to want to stick a lot more. So we're going to keep an eye on them and get them out when they're not mush. No sense in tempting fate by putting in mushy noodles in our wok and having it just turn into a stuck-on crust. And of course, the best way to check a noodle for doneness is to, fish one out. Fish one out. Not two. Fish one out. And just give it a nibble. Oh boy, those don't taste like anything when they're not seasoned. Wow. They taste like just flour. But they taste like they need to come out. So, let's do that. Get them out of there. Toss them in a small quantity of sesame oil for flavor and also for helping them not stick together while they rest. And pour off some water. Pour off some of the excess water to make the remaining noodles easier to fish out. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to move that aside because I don't need it, but I want it handy as a reminder. Now, we start the exciting part. Get the noodles oiled up there. Okay, this guy, heat on, medium +1. So on on my dial, that's a 7. You always want to walk to be a little bit hotter, I think. Usually I won't cook everything right down the middle on medium. But I feel like woks want to be just one tick higher. Maybe that's why the chicken sticks, because I have it set too hot. Could be something worth experimenting on. Also sounds kind of dull. Probably should do that on my own time. But let's... The oil's not actually hot. And I might need to freshen it up with a fresh, but it might need just a tiny splash of extra. I hope not. I hope it's good enough, but I'll keep an eye on that as we move. Egg. Yeah. Yeah. I think we're... Yeah. Okay. How's my thing going? We're still alive over here. If any of that stuff starts to sizzle, we are diving in with everything. Put things out of the way. I think we're going to get away with good cleanup today, too, which is always a plus. Some of these projects give me just an absolute disaster-tastrophe of mess in here. That wasn't a really hard sizzle, but it definitely was a very piddly sizzle. Okay. Starting with those guys, I'm making the decision to completely ignore the fact there are peas on the package. Partly because I don't really like throwing peas in something like this, but also because my peas are frozen. So we'll throw the peppers in. At this point, we're kind of making a fried rice. That's the general gist of the process, except we're using noodles. And at the end, we're garnishing it with some fresh, uncooked veggies. I don't know why Indonesian cuisine seems to favor noodle, but it seems to favor noodles in my very, very, very limited experience with it. I want the bok choy bits to also cook out pretty well. Once the garlic goes in, then we're in the hot seat. Because that will want to burn. Well, I hope the mic doesn't cut out right now. That would suck. Tempting fate. Keep that guy handy for just quick scrape downs. Okay, hot seat. Garlic is in. Cook garlic until fragrant, which will not take long. Our garlic is fragrant. I'm going to deglaze the pan with some sake now. Try to loosen up some of the stuck on chickeny bits. Help get a basis going for our sauce. But we're going to cook it basically dry again because I don't want any liquid alcohol to remain in our dish. And the easiest way to do that is just to cook your alcohol component until it is basically dry again. And then we don't have a lot more to do. Fragrant. Our noodles, despite oiling them up, did in fact stick together. So once they go in, we have to pay attention. But let's throw in our meat element. I almost feel like it needs to be hotter. Like we're not getting quite the oomph I was expecting. I wonder if I mistakenly switched this coil and the back left coil, and they heat at different rates, and I'm expecting the back left coil to be this front one. I almost feel like I gotta turn this up. It seems not hot enough, strangely. let's throw our remaining oniony bits in now. Make sure that nothing is sticking. Oh, the noodles do want to start sticking pretty much right away, so they cannot stop moving, much like a fried rice. And the very last thing is the leafy element of our bok choy, which I am just going to stir in enough to wilt. And we're going to take it off the heat. We're going to call it done. And that is my approximate memory of how that's supposed to go. Wow, I made one of those giant bowls of food again. I made a gigantic pile of food again. Glad I did not add any extra oil. I certainly didn't need that. It's a heap. It's a heap of food. Although if I nudge it toward the middle, it looks less heap and more nice. We want some chicken and some shrimp pieces to be visible from the top. It's not done though. There might be leftovers. It's not done though, because we've got to slide back over here, grab the drip tray out of the way. That guy, get him heating up, because there's supposed to be a fried egg on top of this. So while that drop of oil over there is heating, I also am going to cut we still have battery. I'm zipping through because I feel like I'm about to lose my batteries. Cut that core piece out and just some fresh tomato, some fresh cucumber that I have to clean the little teeth off of. That's how fresh it was. It still has little teeth on it from when it was picked. You guys are on the right side. You're over here with me. We're going to clean up the plate, of course, because I schmutzed all over the place. Is our oil hot? Yes, it runs like water. Is the sign that it is hot. So we will slide over there. We're going to fry an egg. The old-fashioned way. By mangling the shell. We would ideally like a sunny side egg, but I don't think I have the patience for that. So we're going to go for an over easy, which is my favorite kind of egg anyways. Sunny sides just have, you know, that picturesque look. But I think they're a little bit fussy. And this guy's going real quick too, which is perfect. Half a cucumber, half a tomato, little core pieces. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Looks good. Looks good enough. We want that yolk to be juicy. And that, my friends, is our dish. We don't need these long chopsticks. Ta-da. And that's basically what we've got on the picture there, except I didn't do a sunny egg, and I sliced my cucumber instead of dicing it. And my shrimp are kind of all up in there. Yeah, looks good to me. Let's go take some quick snaps. I think we're gonna run out of microphone in just a second, so I'm trying to speed through this end bit just a little bit so we don't cut out. Oh, I should break the yolk for the picture. So apologies, I'm going to break the yolk off the side here. Camera. Okay, we're coming back. Nice, beautiful runny yolk right in the center. And yeah, let's see how my memory delivers in terms of taste. Get a good glob and a piece of shrimp. Mmm. 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 It is definitely not how I remember it exactly. And it is definitely not lore accurate. But it's tasty. It's just a little bit sweet. It's spicy, but not overwhelming. And it's got a good, rich, unctuous savoriness to it. I'm adding a little bit extra tomato so that I can have some smaller pieces. I think the tomato should be chopped up a little bit more than those big slices. I think the slices are picturesque, but you want to be able to pick up a little piece with a bite. The thing that is accurate that I remember from having had it the one other time is having the fresh vegetables just hanging out. If I can get a hold of these. My noodles kind of got tied into knots, so I'm breaking them as I take bites. Mmm. 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 Mm-hmm. Having the fresh vegetables, this bright, watery crunch of the cucumber, the savory note, which I'm going to amp up with a pinch of salt. Also a pinch of salt on our egg. But like the freshness of those two. And in this case, I used the bok choy leaves and wilted them instead of throwing in lettuce, because I don't have any lettuce. And you know, they're pretty good too, but I think actually the lettuce is better. It's that contrast between the fresh salad ingredients and this savory, rich, unctuous, fried noodle thing underneath. It's mighty tasty. Well, how do you think I did? I know for sure that there are people who know Indonesian food way better than I do. Even right here in chat. So I'm under no illusion that I did this right. But I sure did it tasty. Oh, it's got a nice little, like, slow burn spice too. It's not blowing your face off. It's just sort of this gentle. I really knotted these noodles up. I really tied the noodles into knots. It's hard to get an end and get them to slide out neatly. Mm-hmm. TK. Hello, hello, hello. You are a smidge late because we are actually right at the end of things. But you're not too late. We can slide over. Now it's got schmutz on it already because I just used it, but shiny cooktop, brand new coil back there. That's the main thing. My microphone's about to give up the ghost. This was Mie Goreng from memory. I think I did a good job, but again, I don't know. Because I never had the real thing to compare. I've only had the instant version, and this is better than the instant version, for sure. And And the big news was I got called in for 2 job interviews this afternoon, which was a big surprise because one of those applications went in on Sunday evening. So it was a very, very, very fast turnaround. So glad you could make it. We are going to attempt to get you guys out of here before my microphone dies because it is on a teensy tiny sliver of red. Because I didn't give it a full charge before I started, and that's my fault. Thanks, Isosceles. I'm excited because, as I said, as much fun as this is, it's not quite paying the bills. I'm looking to switch careers. Define career. You assume we've got something going on. But yeah, so I just happenstanced into a fresh tomato and a fresh cucumber as gifts from my friend's garden. So, I was already kind of thinking about trying this, so it just came together and I did it. I'm pretty happy with it. Again, it's different than the last time, and it's different than the instant, and I don't know what the real thing is supposed to taste like. So I don't have a way to compare. So yeah, let's ship you guys up. What is this thing at the bottom of my screen? What was that? Pop up. Anyways, let's see what's going on around the old Twitch. Who's twitching? Oh, it's alive, but the battery is now literally no sliver. There's not even a sliver. It's black, all blank. So we're gonna get you guys out of here before that dies. Let's see. Dinner with Mom is making something right now. Toady is off. Toady was on a little bit earlier. A lot of No Man's Sky going on. I'm not really interested in that. Let's go raid Lee Chat. Lee Chaton. I'm gonna start the raid in case my battery completely dies. I'm gonna talk fast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for showing up, sticking around, etc., 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 etc. A busy weekend, so we didn't get a makeup for missing Friday. I'll try to squeeze one in this week, but it's become a busy week all of a sudden because I've got things to schedule. So, no promises. No promises, but as always, I am going to shoot for that Friday. Actually, I gotta check my schedule. Put a pin in that. Probably Friday. Gonna be a little bit of a, I don't know, things are in flux. I'll try to squeeze you guys in whenever possible. Yeah, so thanks for showing up. I'm gonna eat this delicious food. The cleanup is actually looking pretty good right now. And yeah, we should plan something out. I should plan something out. Isosceles is coming up with some excellent raid messages. I would say pick any one of those you want. I usually just write something when I arrive. Here's our countdown, so we only have a few seconds left. So I will see you next time. Thanks for being here. Push stop streaming. Push.